I think one of the things that can make things very difficult for us is that we often, don't accept our humanity in the sense of, that we struggle. So I think it's very important that we're talking about, the ideal of unconditional love and reaching towards that, but it's very important that we apply it to ourselves, and that we find that we have our own problems, our own weaknesses and everything like that, but that at the same time we have an awareness of where we want to be or where we want to go, So that it's that awareness that I think is very helpful. It's like there's a story about somebody that went to one of the Zen masters and asked what it felt like to be enlightened. And he said, before enlightenment I was depressed, and after enlightenment I am depressed. But the point is, as always, that he was aware of it afterwards, he understood it, and he was able to see it in a context. That it was part of his human journey, if you like, but that it wasn't really the real person, or in other words, that that it was in the long run an illusion, even though it doesn't seem like that when you're going through it. But at the same time, if you can understand that it's part of what you chose in the physical journey, and then that you can perhaps see it differently and find a way of dealing with it more easily. But I find that the acceptance is great, like that you don't have to be perfect. Do you know what I mean? There's no such thing as perfection anyway, because perfection is, like if you look at it, as a point where everything stops. But we are in evolving consciousness, so there's never going to be a point where everything comes to a stop. So perfection as such is a sort of it's a stultifying philosophy, like in that sense, we're looking for perfection. The pain of being human, and we all have it in some form, it isn't actually taken away from us. We go through it, we get the different things, the different experiences of being human, but it's actually how we look at them. If we can have a way of dealing with them, and a philosophy of dealing with them, that's what's helpful. And that we can accept our own frailties in that journey, and that it's part of the process of what we are. The whole thing of being on earth was deliberately designed as a sort of a limiting situation, that we come in from being free spirits, if you like, where we're not subject to illness, we're not subject to pain, we're not subject to aging, we have no financial problems, we have nothing like that. So we come into this little body, grows up into that environment, and we have to deal with all these sorts of things. And you can imagine the pressure that puts on us. And you could say, why did we actually choose to do that? But it's because it's so restricting that it forces us to look at ourselves and to face ourselves and what we are. And that's the purpose of it. It's like it pushes us up against the blank wall until we can look within and work from that. And this is often what happens with, say, people, for example, who are workaholics, who get totally obsessed with work. And then something happens that they get a heart attack or something. And then they have to take it easy, they have to look within. or at least they're pushed into that, and they may or may not benefit from it, but this is what happens. So there's something or other takes over that pushes us into that looking within. And then hopefully we can benefit from that. And if we can be also then, know that we have help available to us, and all the, even for example, all the wonderful people that are here, even though they're all off the wall, but still. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. But actually all the wonderful people that are here, like that, all very helpful in all the sharing and everything, that makes it, I hope, is that helpful?